Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at one of my favorite filming spot locations because guess what? We have that small size Mazda crossover SUV for you. That this one has turbocharged power. What is it? It's a 2024 Mazda CX-30 Turbo with all-wheel drive. But before we get into this polymetal metallic color that really has a nice sparkle to it, let's talk about what's going on here. Mazda. They're trying to bring this crossover of luxury and style and some performance with a turbocharged engine and not bring a crazy inflated price or start a whole new performance brand. Now, when you look at subcompact crossover SUVs, there's a ton of them. But what makes the CX-30 Turbo very unique is that zoom quality to it and good driving characteristics. Now, there's not a lot of other examples that have a turbocharger, let alone one that has 250 horsepower like this one does. So what I want to find out is if you're looking for the best subcompact crossover SUV and you're looking at maybe a Kia Seltos, maybe you're even looking at a BMW X1, is this CX-30 the way to go? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the shape. The way Mazda does their design, you don't have a lot of hard edges. And I think that their designs are a little more timeless compared to, say, a Kia Seltos or a Hyundai Kona or something to that effect, where they're much more angular and kind of almost transformer-ish. Now, at the front of the business, you're gonna get great headlight style. Not only do we have LED daytime running lamps, we have our projector beam LED headlights, which are adaptive. They move with the steering wheel. And then you'll notice as you work your way down, you have your LED lighting in the lower bumper area. No fake vents, very smooth, everything painted, and some flat black on the bottom. Now, as we come across that low slung grille, you got the Mazda badge. Let me scrape that dead bug off there. There we go. Forward-facing camera. I like the gloss black accents in the grille. And then on the lower portion, really large lower grille area, because remember, we do have an intercooled turbocharged setup. Some shiny chrome, nothing too crazy. The rest of it, very sleek, very smooth. As we rise up, that hood is actually quite low and very aerodynamic. You just have a nice indentation that evaporates as you get close to that windshield. And then when we come around the bend, you're gonna have that body color with the flat black molding. Not my favorite. It's a little too high and I will zonk it. It should be all body color, to be honest with you. But then working our way down, I like the multi-spoke gloss black wheel. Good looking wheel for this category. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the wheel? You're looking at an 18-inch wheel. Tire size is gonna be 215 on the width, and then you have a 55 series sidewall. Suspension has been tuned a little bit more effectively to give you some of that nice driver feedback. It's something that a lot of the subcompact crossovers don't even think about. BMW X1, yeah, you're gonna have some of that quality to it, but when it comes to a Kia Seltos or a Hyundai Kona or even a Chevy Trax, this definitely has better steering and better driver engagement. I just wish it didn't have that much cladding on the side. Let me know how you feel about that. I wish they would have just made it all body color. I think that would look fantastic. Now, working our way down the side, you do have metallic paint, black paint on the mirror caps, your LED turn signals. We have a standard size sunroof, and you do have these nice, sleek roof rails that have an aluminum silver finish to them, color matched on the door handles, and then a lot more of that cladding. The cladding is what really kills it for me. But everything else, very sleek. Working our way towards the back, just a little bit of bright, shiny metalwork. I'm okay with that because it matches the shiny style on the grille. And then when you swing it around back, you got a stubby roof spoiler. You do have an exposed wiper. I'm gonna let it slide because all the competitors have this exposed wiper. I love the way they work the LED taillights. And then shininess on the CX-30 all-wheel drive badge. Like I said, the turbo badge, looking good. A little bit of silver trim to protect that rear bumper. And then as we work our way down, my favorite part is that you actually have functional exhaust, stainless steel tips / cut on both sides to give it a nice balanced look. But why don't we go ahead, let's go ahead and pop the hood and see what's powering our Mazda. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I'm gonna zonk it. It should have hood struts at this price point. Underneath the hood, tasteful engine cover. I know everybody likes to joke about the 2 cup holders in the engine cover. Yeah, that's where you're gonna put drinks while you're driving down the road, or maybe when you're at a car show with your CX-30. But anyways, enough poking fun. 2.5 liter turbocharged inline 4, 250 horsepower, 320 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to a 6-speed automatic transmission, torque converter, traditional automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 5.6 seconds. Top speed is governed to around 130 miles per hour. It weighs 3,472 pounds with the all-wheel drive. MPGs, 22 in the city, 30 on the highway. Now, of course, they still have a non-turbo version, which is just the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter inline 4 that you could go with. But nice to have the turbo option with the all-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see this Mazda zoom zoom. All right guys, we're inside this Mazda CX-30, and it's interesting because they do a really good job with the layout of the interior. It's comfortable. You get a sense of all the higher end finishes that are in here. Now I know you're probably saying to yourself, well Joe, if there's higher end finishes and there's a turbocharged engine and all-wheel drive, the price tag might be a little on the high side. Well, yes and no. For a subcompact crossover SUV, it might be. But if you're comparing it to a BMW X1, you're still going to be well within a good range. So this one, fully loaded with the color, because it's an optional color, that polymetal, you're looking at an MSRP of $36,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. I love the soft touch material. What I wish they would change up is allow some different interior color choices. The dark chocolate brown, I don't know, it's just a little drab, but it is good looking. The stitching is nice. You have a Bose sound system. You do have gloss black around the switchgear, which I am gonna zonk that, but the armrest, like I said, the material, the stitching, door pocket is a good enough size to where you could easily get, I would say, 4 chalupas, a Mexican pizza, and a chocolate chimichanga, and a Pepsi to wash it down. Going from the door panel to the dash, you got that nice material. The stitching is great, soft touch. I like the way they kind of blend the AC vents in with some trim. And then you come on in, what do you have? You have an 8.8-inch infotainment system. The bummer is, it's not a touchscreen. Let me know in the comment section how that upsets you. You use the direct drive control knob and you could do whatever you want with it. It's very easy to use. So I like the way it shows all the fuel stations. And what that plain means is that there's an airport there. Let me throw it in reverse. They did a great improvement on the backup camera quality. You do have trajectory on your 360, that's really nice, and you can make adjustments. Look, see there's a trajectory, nice. Right back into park. Now working your way down, the switch gear in here has such a nice feel. You got your dual climate control. You do have 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats, but you do have a heated steering wheel, your start stop button. Down below you have your wireless charging, which is nice. 2 cup holders, some of that gloss black, and then this is going to control your 6-speed automatic transmission. You do have sport and off. To put in sport, you just go sport. To put in off, you just click back, go off. Real volume knob. I like the stitching on the side here and the direct drive control knob. Soft touch on the armrest with the stitching. Open it up. USB-Cs. You got 2 USB-Cs, and you got enough room in there for 2 autographed baseballs. Maybe you still have Jose Canseco's balls that you got signed as baseballs, or your baseballs that were signed. You could even keep a couple of the syringes in here that he used to use for steroids. I heard people are starting to collect those. Don't ask me, I don't collect them. Seats, nice soft leather style material, perforated. The bummer is the zonk is that it's manual control on the passenger side. Driver's side is full electric. I'm not in love with the lighter headliner, but I do like the fact that you have a sunroof. But why don't you come over here at the business end? I want to show you behind the sporty steering wheel in the CX-30. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings. There's the power seat controls for the driver's seat. Lower lumbar is nice. Even though it's a subcompact, like I said, don't let that word fool you. There's a good amount of room in here. I'm 6 feet tall. Love the nice thin spoke steering wheel, leather, good looking horn button, flat black on the switchgear. You do have paddles to go up and down that 6-speed automatic transmission, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you got that wonderful digital gauge cluster. So you have the gauge clusters digital in the center, analog tach, analog coolant gauge, and fuel gauge. And then you could go through different information in the center, which is kind of cool. But I love the way that it looks like an analog speedometer. On top of that, you do have your head-up display. So that's another nice feature. But let's get to the back seat and see if you're gonna be squished in this subcompact. All right, guys, back seat time, and it's crazy. Like I said, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not even touching the headliner. The zonk is there's no pocket behind the passenger. For the passenger behind the driver. I don't know why they do that, especially in a $36,000 car. So that's a zonk. But you do have your AC vents. And then I have a nice large pocket here, large enough to put 2 packages of Nutter Butters. I freaking love Nutter Butters. They're so damn good. I want some right now in a big glass of milk. Super soft armrest with the 2 cup holders. The one thing I'm gonna have to give an old zonk to, no USB-Cs, no USB-As, no 12 volt. They don't even give you 2 cans and a piece of string to talk to somebody back here. That to me is ridiculous for $36,000. Just saying. But let's get into the back seat. Well, we're in the back seat area. Let's go behind the back seat and see how much cargo room there is in the CX-30. All right, guys, cargo area time, real simple. Hit the button, you got nice electric assist. Lifts right up, you're gonna be greeted to 20 cubic feet of space with the seats up. I love how low the cargo floor is. Gives you a nice, like, sort of dam here so that when you're on a hill and you have cantaloupes and watermelons back here, they're not gonna roll on out. Let's see what's underneath. You do have a spare, and there's your Bose subwoofer. And then of course those seats are gonna do the 60-40 split. Really easy to do. You're just gonna push the button up top and then you fold the seat down. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And of course you're gonna get almost 40 cubic feet of space. But why don't we go ahead, enough about talking about this thing. Let's see how the CX-30 exhibits zoom zoom. Let's go on throttle in this Mazda. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Mazda CX-30. I have it in sport mode. Nobody's behind us, and I'm gonna go on throttle. Are you ready? Because I know Steven's ready. On throttle, here we go. Actually, fairly smooth shifts from that 6-speed automatic transmission, and it gets the power to the ground very, very effectively. No slip, all grip. And I kind of like the sound that's being pumped in through the speakers. It's not too artificial, not too whiny, and kind of just helps with the overall driving experience. Now remember, the screen is not a touchscreen. You gotta use the direct drive control knob. But I'm telling you, once you get the hang of it, it's very easy, guys. I mean, we're not talking about rocket science here. You're able to select whatever you need very easily, and then you don't have to worry about the fingerprints all over the place, especially if you've been eating KFC or picking your nose or something. Head-up display, clear as day. Seats are very, very comfortable. That's something that if you're looking for a daily to go on those longer drives, the seats in this vehicle are very comfortable, and Steven gives 2 thumbs up for the headrests, because headrests are one of the most important things that Steven looks for in any car, and he loves the headrests in this Mazda CX-30. Let's go on throttle again. On throttle, here we go. Passing this Ford Escape, yeah. But visibility is great. Of course, you got all the safety features, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, all those goodies. And then the feedback to the wheel, it shows the work that Mazda does to make the driving experience for the driver. It's very, very engaging. It's got good feedback. And it's one of those vehicles that, you know what? On a twisty road, you can actually have some pretty good fun, especially when you take the shifter, you put it into manual shift mode, you got a small little gear indicator at the bottom, and now you could go through the 6-speed automatic with the paddles. On throttle, here we go. So very, very smooth upshifts, smooth downshifts. You're able to see the tach very easily, even though it's over to the left of the gauge cluster. But really, really nicely done, especially on the interior noise. You know, very little road noise, very little wind noise. They did a great job, and that shows that extra touch that Mazda's trying to bring. As you can hear that blind spot monitoring. I like the way the blind spot monitoring also shows up on the head-up display as well. That's another nice little piece of information, visual information. Navigation is great. Of course, you have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. Nice to have those features. You know, you look at BMW, it's like you got to pay a freaking subscription to have those, which are kind of stupid. Brakes feel great. And then good throttle sensitivity, even when you're in sport mode. It's nice that you just have sport mode and that's it. We don't need 42 different modes. You know, you got to have like a semi-fast mode, super semi-fast mode. I mean, it's just, it gets a little ridiculous with the amount of modes that we have in vehicles today. But just a fun car to drive, and it's gonna be reliable. You're getting halfway decent fuel economy, but you got the pep. A lot of vehicles in this category don't have the pep. We're talking about 0 to 60 in 8 seconds or more. This one is 5.6 seconds. Think about that. Let it marinate in your brain. Chew on it like a piece of beef jerky for a little while, and then get back to me. But really, really nice, like I said, balance to the vehicle, the handling, all the finishes in here. It all kind of comes together in what Mazda's trying to do with their brand. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of the Mazda CX-30. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another great day in so many ways with this Mazda CX-30. Definitely want to thank everybody at Mazda USA for getting us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Are you going CX-30 for the price? Would you spend more and go BMW X1? Or are you going to go with one of the other category subcompact crossover SUVs, maybe a Seltos or a Kona? Let me know down in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. Of course, we need to give it up, Stephen Flood Photography. He has specific interests when it comes to these crossover SUVs. He really likes to pick them apart and get down to the nitty gritty of whether they're good or not so good. And remember, one of those key aspects is, of course, the headrest, the mighty headrest. But thank you, Stephen, for all that you do and all the dissecting. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.